Welcome to Wrasslin Raw!
All right, you're listening to Wrasslin Raw, the podcast that takes you back to when Raw became more and Attitude ruled. Thank you for joining us. You're here with Ryan Arico.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Joe Giammatteo.
Mr. Briscoe, does my ass taste good?
I'm the one and only Jason Bartlett. We're going to examine WWE history, one episode of Raw is War at a time. But first, mail call.
You've got mail.
Frequent listener and frequent commenter, Chris K789 on YouTube sent us a little message saying it's crazy how Deborah got over with the crowd in less than 2 months. And I would say that is mostly just my personal opinion, of course, due in part to the more than 2,000 cc's that she's working with there. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I think she's probably had one asset a month that has set her above the other two. Yeah. It's been pretty crazy how quickly the crowd has warmed up to her, even though technically she's part of a heel team, right?
Yeah. There are 2 reasons why she has gotten over in 2 months, if you will.
Mm-hmm. If you will.
Yeah. And I personally, I appreciate her that much more for it because she's not trying to become a wrestler. She's not trying to powerbomb her husband into mediocrity. She stands apart from Sable in that way.
Great looking valet, right place at the right time.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Not trying to go beyond that with an acting career, maybe even. Ugh. All right. But yeah, Chrissy, just wanted to make sure you got your answer from us there. And thank you for writing in. Listeners, please do send in notes, comments, questions, whatever. We love it. So
watch it, Chrissy.
In this episode of Wrasslin Raw, we're going to be talking about the Raw that aired on December 14th, 1998. This Raw was recorded at the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, Washington, and features Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Ready.
All right, then. Let's get into it. We started this off with highlights of what I'm sure was your favorite part of the pay-per-view last night, Joe. Socko for everyone. And that was followed by something that was almost universally hated by the fans, the finish to that Buried Alive match. I thought it was funny that they spent almost no time on the backhoe and 10 times as much time on Socko.
Yeah, they really made sure they edited that video so that the backhoe driver didn't look like a total piece of shit.
Yeah. And then we went to the arena, where the first impression that I got, at least, of Tacoma, Washington, was that they were much more creative than the fans of New Haven. It was
absolutely
good to have a wide variety of signs there in the audience. And we got a full DX intro into what wasn't full-on blackface, but kind of came pretty darn close with Triple H and the rest of the DX gang coming out dressed as the Corporation.
It's just one blackface this time, so it's allowed.
Yeah, Triple H.
Not going to be edited out of existence like the other one is.
DX as the Corporation, they had a couple of midgets with them out there as Patterson and Briscoe. Their lips were permanently attached to Vince's ass. Vince was being played by the Road Dogg here. And I had to pop for the Briscoe midget that had a Briscoe Brothers Body Shop sign strapped around his neck. That was great.
Just in case you weren't sure who he was supposed to be.
Yeah. Triple H was the Croc. Or The Rock. He called himself The Croc. Billy Gunn was pretending to be Shane. X-Pac was Ken Shamrock. Chyna was the Big Bossman. Chyna looked extremely hot in doing so, I thought.
Got a thing for the Big Bossman, huh?
Well,
don't we all?
I really popped whenever she did a marching band baton routine with the Billy Club. That was great.
It was.
X-Pac was really funny as Shamrock because he was wearing like this, it wasn't quite an afro wig, but it was like standing up on its ends and just roiding up and screaming all over the place. Jason Sensation ended up coming out as Shawn Michaels. He did an okay job with it, up to the point where he called himself HB Gay and made reference to bending over for everyone. And I had to roll my eyes at that. I was like, wow, that's a pretty strong sign of its time.
This entire segment, really, think about it. We had blackface, people making fun of gays, midgets. It was basically just a big collage of 90s jokes that would not fly today.
Well, things there with DX started to wrap up in the ring, and then the Corporation came out. This was Shawn Michaels, The Rock, Shamrock, and the Bossman. Shawn ordered a rematch of the Tag Team Championship match between the Outlaws and Bossman Shamrock that we had last night at the pay-per-view. And then The Rock went on to issue a challenge of his own to Triple H with the championship on the line. The Rock got some quality time on the mic here. He really took advantage of it, and I really liked the back and forth between him and Triple H. And that wound down and was followed by a video package advertising the Coliseum Home Video Encore Replay, which was surprising given that they've already given us a better card on this episode of Raw than what was that turd of a pay-per-view from last night. And when we came back from that commercial, we were at a view of the corporate locker room with Vince giving a pep talk about the downfall of the Outlaws. He threw in that the big red machine would fall cryptically, and that is where this wound down. Guys, this was like the first 20 minutes of this episode of Raw. A very girthy segment. And all in all, I really liked it. I thought DX went maybe a little too long. Maybe that was just a timing issue. But that, as well as the dress-up gimmick, it started to wear thin for me a little bit. But as soon as the Corporation came out, and especially when The Rock got on the mic, things came right back around. And not just that, but we've got a couple of matches scheduled now for later tonight with some pretty high stakes. That's always welcome too. So, Ryan, what'd you think of the way we kicked it off tonight?
Outside of the controversial things that I pointed out a minute ago, all in all, this was a really good segment, though. You have DX out here bashing the Corporation, who everyone hates at this point, making fun of everyone. You've got the ass kissers. Joe, did you show your wife Mr. Ass literally dressed like a toddler in a diaper and a shirt? I thought of you immediately when I saw that. And I also really loved X-Pac as Shamrock, constantly punching himself in the face and then screaming, "It's 5-knuckle shuffle time." That was a great way to make fun of his ridiculously dumb catchphrase. All of this really worked. Bartlett, you said it was a bit long. Yeah, 20 minutes. It took up a lot of time, but it worked. By the end of it, we've got a hell of a main event set up for the belt. Triple H was able to goat The Rock into putting the belt on the line by telling him how many times he kicked his ass just a short time ago. So all around, a pretty solid segment.
Yeah, this was level 10 funny if you like the word sphincter, because that was used quite a bit during this segment. And I thought this was a weird way to start the show because Triple H did not even have a match last night on the pay-per-view, right? Pretty sure he did not.
He did it heat,
so,
if I remember.
Yeah. So I thought it was a weird way to start the show, but a pretty good concept, I think. Just the idea of doing this, I just don't think that the impressions were that great or very creative with the writing. Like I said, the overuse of the word sphincter. I thought that the associates attached to the ass of Vince McMahon was pretty funny. And I don't know, Road Dogg's Vince McMahon impression was not that great. I think Chyna as Bossman did not really work either because she's too sexy to be the boss man. It just doesn't work for me, brother. Triple H's Rock impression, I don't think is very good. I think for me, Jason Sensation and the Corporation saved this because Jason Sensation, he sounds exactly like Shawn Michaels. He does both versions of Shawn's voice too, and does it perfectly. So I thought that was pretty good. And The Rock versus Triple H on the mic is just no contest. The Rock just made Triple H look like a dumbass once he started going. So that was interesting to see, just because we know what kind of success Triple H is going to have in the future. But this was really, really early days of Triple H getting to go one-on-one with the Great One, if you will.
Yeah.
You mean wrestling isn't going to pan out for him and he's no longer going to be attached to wrestling moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of have to take a little bit of umbrage of what you said about China, Joe. You said she was too sexy to be the boss man, and I would maybe posit that she's not quite sexy enough to be the boss man. But I digress. Let's step away from that. Let's go towards our first match of the night. Val Venis and the Godfather defeat the Brood. This is Edge and Christian with Gangrel at the outside by pinfall in 2 minutes and 37 seconds. The Ho update for Tacoma, Washington is overall positive, but the one in the black vinyl dress was the clear winner there, in my opinion. The other one in the white dress, no slouch, but black vinyl was definitely the winner for me there. And again, this made me think of you, Joe, because Gangrel is still getting his fire entrance, and meanwhile, Edge and Christian are just standing off to the side and getting like entrance cucked over there. We had a really clear shot of it at the start of this match, them just having to stand there and wait for him to get up through the floor.
Yeah, they gave us like a ceiling long view shot of it, and you could just see them up there waiting.
They need to increase the budget.
Val and the Godfather, they had a nice sequence of chain moves at one point, and the action in this was pretty good for such a short match. Everybody looked good in it, and obviously, as I said, the Brood lost, and as things were winding down, Gangrel grabbed a microphone and threw a hissy fit, yelling that tonight there would be a bloodbath, and that's where this ended. So, Ryan, before the match had started, like, I had originally planned on asking you when the Brood were going to be our jobbers of the week, because they can't win at all here. But this match was actually pretty entertaining enough, and it was entertaining enough for me to scratch that question. So I guess just what did you think of this match overall?
By the time the match ended, I was still wondering, well, should they be jobber of the week? Because they jobbed out here. This wasn't a very long match. Val and the Godfather pretty quickly put the Brood away. But then having Gangrel say there's going to be a bloodbath, that kind of showed us where things are going from now. We're finally hitting that pinnacle point where they're going to start doing this bloodbath segment. And obviously they're going to be known for this. So that did take them out of jobber territory only because jobbers don't have storylines.
Yeah.
But I did note that the biggest pop of this entire match was when the Godfather said "Ho Train," because as we know, the audience loves to scream shit, and they followed along with that. That was by far the biggest pop of the match, but all around solid enough, good to see the story moving forward with the Brood.
Yeah, I hinted at this recently, and I'm just tired of Val Venis at this point.
Yeah.
When he first came in, the vignettes and the promos were funny, but now it's just like, what the hell? Especially coming out here with the Godfather, because I'm trying to pay attention to the hoes dancing and the Godfather, and Val's out there with his creepy dance, like jumping out in front of them and doing his promo, and I'm just tired of it. So hopefully they'll split these guys up soon. I don't know. Really hoping for that.
Ever since the Choppy storyline, things have really went downhill for Val.
He peaked when he at the Choppy your PP.
Climaxed, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, the pin came out of nowhere on this match, and Gangrel says there's going to be a bloodbath, and that's maybe they're at the point now with the Brood where it's like, you know what, these guys are like bordering on cartoony. We need to give them some attitude, if you will, and do something different. And I think we're headed that direction.
Yeah. Can't wait to see the first mysterious red substance bath.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know why Gangrel said the word blood there.
Yeah, it's clearly
doesn't make
not
any
blood.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, I had started making my list for my favorite sign of the evening, and here's where I noticed the real creativity of this Tacoma crowd. But it seemed like 75% of the signs out there were pimpin' related. There were a lot of Godfather fans in the audience for this tonight.
Yes, there was.
And my first pick, actually, this is not my official favorite sign, but I had noted this sign while I was watching this match. There was a sign out there that said Pimpa Shango.
No, I didn't see that one.
Pretty impressed with, so.
During this next match, I saw a pretty funny, well, I don't know if it was funny, but it was the green blazer with the marijuana leaf. I thought that was funny.
Well, after the deal with the Brood there, we got a view of a bingo roller And I guess tonight they're going to be drawing Stone Cold Steve Austin's entry number for the Royal Rumble. And after that, we went to Kevin, oh my God, Kelly, with Steve Blackman in the locker room. Both of these guys were just flat. Kevin more with existential malaise and Blackman with a lack of charisma. But it was fine. It's all fine. We're all doing good here.
Kevin had that 1,000-yard stare going on.
They were both there to talk about the Blue Blazer, so, who gives a shit? Unfortunately,
tough
though...
to psych yourself up for that.
Yeah. He showed up. Kevin Kelly, he showed up with the twinkle of life in his eye, but when he found out he was going to be talking to Blackman about the Blue Blazer, he died. And the whole thing there, just took us straight into our next match. Goldust defeats the Blue Blazer by disqualification in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. We got replays of various spots in this feud. They were all underwhelming. And I do have a complaint about Goldust here, and I am being a nitpicking dickbag, since we are mostly getting what we want from him after that jobber phase he went through. But Goldust in this match, at least, and the one or two times I've seen him recently, he's been much too up-tempo for me. Goldust is much better as a slow burn. He's a subtle bizarre, which I know is contradictory in that he comes out with the platinum blonde wig and the presentation and everything, but whenever he's whispering things that are really fucked up is when I like him the most. Not whenever he's like almost doing a Hulk Hogan, like throwing the hand up to the ear gesture as he's coming down an entry ramp, trying to get the crowd psyched up. But in the long run, I would take that over the Nugget chant that got going. I hated that. And the Tacoma crowd, they were extremely excited at the prospect of the Blue Blazer getting his balls kicked through the rafters with a Shattered Dreams. They got denied that, though, because Jeff Jarrett showed up. And then Steve Blackman. Blackman did pull the mask off of the Blue Blazer, and it was Owen Hart under there. Still don't care. And that's it, Joe. I'm not sure how many different ways we can say that we don't care. What did you come up with for this?
Well, I'll put over our Tacoma crowd again, and they wanted the Blue Blazer to get the dick kick, and quite frankly, so do I.
Yeah.
So that was nice to see, and I laughed when Jerry Lawler said, "Are you sure that's Owen Hart?" That was the highlight for me during this whole thing. That was so great. Outside of that, this was trash.
Poor Goldust. He goes from one piece of shit storyline to another. Now he's out there wrestling the Blue fucking Blazer. Come on, just do something better with him, please. Better would have been allowing Goldust to kick the Blue Blazer's dick into next week, but no, the Blue Blazer ruins that just like he ruined Deborah's strip from last night. Blackman takes the mask off, and yeah, sure enough, it's Owen Hart. What a riveting few months that has led up to this climax. Everyone was thrilled and excited, just like I was, I'm sure.
Yeah, so let's get the hell away from that then. We got a quick video of Sexual Chocolate, Mark Henry with a Jim Johnston Barry White ripoff playing in the background.
So great.
And that was followed by DX and the Corporation randomly running into each other in what looked like an enormous unloading bay. Michael Cole called it the locker room area, despite there being no lockers and it being one giant room.
It was in the area of the locker room.
Good call. Good call, Mike. That took us into our next match. Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown with PMS defeats the Job Squad, Bob Holly and Scorpio, with Al Snow, Dwayne Gill, and the Blue Meanie at the outside by pinfall in 3 minutes. Mark Henry has a full Sexual Chocolate entrance now. It is hilarious. The song has great lyrics that talk about love growing and love showing. One thing that I did not care for with it, though, is that D'Lo's getting lost in this right now. Even though he was having a great time with it there in the ring, he was being that great tag partner, that great supportive friend that we've all come to know and appreciate and love. None of that has changed, but the focus is very clearly on Mark Henry over D'Lo Brown. Jackie and Terry looked great. They usually do, but they looked especially good here tonight. Mark Henry in the ring got on the microphone to give us a, quote, bedtime story, end quote, about what happened on he and Chyna's date. Nothing too serious or noteworthy there. It was just kind of like, hey, we went back and, despite no sex being part of
she
the
wore him out. And D'Lo was filming, apparently.
Yeah, like such a good friend. D'Lo is. D'Lo was enraptured by the telling of the story. He hung on Mark's every word, and Mark finally made a joke that China wore him out, and that's when the Job Squad came out. And the match itself, it didn't really go well, in my opinion. Scorpio was working pretty sloppy, I thought. The finish was a good idea in theory, with Jackie hitting a missile dropkick on Bob Holly, but the finish wasn't executed well. And this was almost over as soon as it had started. So I really did not know what to say about this, other than obviously this is to just keep driving that story with China. But it's really like the match was an afterthought here, and nobody or nothing really stuck out to me. Ryan, what'd you think of it?
To go off of what you said there, this match was most certainly an afterthought. Everything about this was just for, well, one, the debut of the sexual chocolate persona and music. So that was number one. And number two was for Mark Henry to tell us there's apparently a video of him in China having sex, or she wearing him out at the very least, if we're going to take him just at his word. But the match, completely forgettable. The commentary tells us, though, in the middle of this, that Mick Foley is currently number 2 in the running for Times Magazine Man of the Year. That's shocking and great, in my opinion. Fucking fantastic. It's a real shame he doesn't win. I think we know that he doesn't win, or we would remember that, but that is hilarious and probably the highlight of this match.
Yeah, I don't have anything on the match at all, but I loved this promo from Mark Henry and D'Lo, and I'm loving this new gimmick for Mark Henry, the sexual chocolate gimmick. We are all in now. Like the Godfather as the pimp gimmick, which just came out of nowhere 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And now we're all in on sexual chocolate here with the music and the persona that he's doing now. It's really good. It's a nice fresh paint of coat, if you will.
Quick question for you guys, and I wouldn't be surprised if neither of you have an answer, but is Terry still pregnant?
I think we'll get our answer someday.
Okay.
You don't remember?
No, I do not remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
The only birth thing I remember involves a lady much older.
Yes.
But
No,
still
so
involves
don't spoil.
sexual chocolate.
Don't spoil
it. I'm not spoiling anything.
Good Lord, I cannot wait.
We got to be close to it, right? We got sexual chocolate now.
Well,
it can't be far
she
away.
She hasn't even appeared yet. I don't know.
Yeah, we're still missing the other half of that. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
She's a known entity, though, so we don't really have to do much setup once she shows up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, I wanted to ask you guys real quick about that, and I do not remember where it goes, so I just thought it was funny that they completely dropped it altogether. She's just coming out, strutting around in her little hot pants like she does all the time, and not showing at all. After that match, we went backstage, got a view of the New Age Outlaws making their way to the ring. They were pep-talking each other. And we got the same view of the Bossman and Shamrock. They were much less vocal in their making their way to the ring. We got a slam of the week going back to Heat last night when Mankind attacked The Rock, because there was nothing slam-worthy on the pay-per-view, that's for damn sure. And then we went into our next match. Ken Shamrock and the Big Bossman defeat the New Age Outlaws by submission in 6 minutes and 46 seconds to win the WWF Tag Team Championship. I actually really like the idea of the corporation briefly taking a lot of the gold. I know we talked about this before, but I really liked the visual of the Bossman and Shamrock marching down with their belts that they already hold. Shamrock has the IC title, the Bossman has the Hardcore title, and just covering them with some more gold. I don't know, something that feels pretty right about that. Not these guys specifically, although they will win, but just the corporation in general.
It makes for a good heel faction for sure.
Parts of this, such as the Road Dogg looking like a total scrub, were predictable. And what I did like, though, was the attack on Billy Gunn's leg, and Billy Gunn sticking with that through the match. I feel like it's been forever since coherent in-ring storytelling has been used like that, but he did it really well here. The false finish with Shawn Michaels giving the Road Dogg a chair shot worked really well, I thought. The extended distraction of Billy Gunn with Shawn Michaels at the ropes, with Earl Hebner finding every possible reason not to look in that direction, was very painfully stretched out. But finally, Shamrock managed to put the ankle lock on Billy Gunn's affected leg, which is what got the submission victory. And we have new tag champs here. So like I said before, I'm fine with the corporation getting all the gold. That doesn't bother me. And honestly, I think it spices things up a little bit because it makes sense that someone with that much power would win more often than not. That's going to make their losses that much more entertaining when they do. But for me, the biggest outcome here was the Outlaws losing the tag titles. And I truly believe that that was the freshening up they needed. Not that obviously fake loyalty swerve shit that they did. The Outlaws were just a little too comfortable with the belts and now have something to chase. So I hope I'm right and their performance improves, but I think this is just what they needed. Joe, do you happen to think that this is going to revive the Outlaws for us? You were pretty vocal from the start about them going down the tubes a little bit here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're in a better position now that they're not the champions and they have something to chase after now. The match, there's a tag team title change on Raw. I didn't think it was that great, really. There was a couple decent near falls, but it was mostly just shenanigans, I think, during this match. So it just wasn't as exciting as it could have been. I don't hate the concept of giving the corporation all of the gold here, but I'm probably being a nitpicking dickbag, but I don't like Shamrock having 2 titles because people were booing him out of buildings and chanting Shamrock sucks not that long ago. So I don't know. I don't like Shamrock having 2 belts right now. That's my hot take on this.
Okay.
I probably agree. He's not really deserving of 2 belts right now, at least as far as the fans are concerned. The other part is like the match that they had, that hour and 53-minute match from Rock Bottom, it was pretty shitty as well. So why not do the title change on the pay-per-view instead of on Raw? That maybe would have made more sense. But I don't know, maybe the idea is to put the idea into the fans' head that major titles could change hands on Raw. So maybe that was their idea here, was making people say, I can't miss the Raw. But the match wasn't all that great because just like the one from the night before, it was mostly the Road Dogg in there. So it got me wondering, is Billy Gunn like really nursing a real injury that they came in? Because that was really his only point, was to come in, they worked on his leg, and then HBK hit him in the back of the head with a club, knocked him out, and Ken Shamrock won with the ankle lock. Which brings me into another question. Just the night before, Vince told us that titles could not change hand by someone being knocked out. So tonight, titles change hands by someone being knocked out. I don't know. I thought that was just a little bit stupid. Like, why didn't someone come out and say, well, they shouldn't lose the belts? But just like both of you, I don't hate the idea of the Outlaws losing the belts because they really haven't done much with them lately, or for months now. So them losing the belts are probably the right move. I just feel it probably could have been done with a little bit better match than this turned out to be.
Yeah. This had me thinking about a few months ago when we were talking about the Outlaws, how the Outlaws have those tag team belts, and it's great that they have them because they're the only tag team that actually acts like they give a shit about having them. And they got a little too complacent with that because we really lost that feeling over the past couple months to the point where we were all pretty down on them. So hopefully this lights a little fire under them. Moving along, we went to Vince and Shane McMahon coming down to the ring where a solid gold bingo roller was already set up and waiting. Vince, based on the events of the pay-per-view last night, gave us a match for later tonight, Kane versus Mankind, in a no-holds-barred match as a punishment for their respective actions to screw with Vince's plans. Vince then rolled the basin, pulled the number, and pulled entrance number 1 for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Shane wanted a quick do-over on that just to prove that they're being fair, and he drew number 1 as well, showing us that the fix is in. Vince, though, he took it a little further. He offered a bounty of $100,000 to the person that eliminates Austin from the Royal Rumble. I popped for that. That's some good storytelling. That's a good detail there in my book. It then went to a whole new level, with Vince announcing his own entrance in the Royal Rumble and then rolled himself the 30th and final spot for the Rumble. I loved right after that when Vince gave us the no chance in hell line. That's going to be a big hallmark of the Vince McMahon character in the future. Then we got a video from Mankind up on the Titantron addressing them. He was coming to us from some kind of boiler room. He was challenging Daddy to a match later, with no response from Vince here at this point. But from there, we got a Glover rewind to Deborah's striptease last night, complete with burlesque music there in the background.
The only highlight from the night.
And then backstage again in the corporate locker room, the Stooges were talking to Vince about the Mankind situation, and Vince was getting frustrated with them, of course. So, Joe, I really liked this. We were laying out the story ahead of time so we can build off of it, as opposed to that whole Mankind contract bullshit that got Ham fucking strung into the whole thing at the pay-per-view last night that I thought was terrible. But this is some good long-term storytelling here. Joe, what'd you think of it?
Absolutely. This was very clever, creative, and storytelling. This is what I wanted from that opening segment tonight with DX that I just felt like it didn't really have. But this is good, and I'm a mark for the bingo roller gimmick. I absolutely love it. Having that out there and just screwing again. The McMahons just screwing Austin left and right is the running theme here to keep us interested, and then having Mankind come in and challenge Vince McMahon. This is just, we're really headed in the right direction with all of this right now.
I couldn't agree more. This was maybe the savior of the night, this segment. I'm with you on the bingo roller. Anytime I see that, I know it's going to be a good time. The McMahons just rubbing the corruption in our face, right? They pick one and then one again. McMahon pulls number 30. It's just right rubbing our nose in it. And the crowd, rightfully so, hate them for it. And then a cherry on the top is McMahon saying that whoever eliminates Stone Cold will get $100,000 courtesy of Shane McMahon's trust fund. This does two things. Not only does it make Vince look like a bigger asshole by giving money out of his kid's trust fund, but it also makes the fans hate them anymore, because who has a trust fund other than a Nepo baby, golden spoon piece of shit, right? So it's just a double whammy. They really knew what the fuck they were doing here with this segment. Absolutely fantastic. I loved everything about it. This was perfect.
And from a business sense, I wouldn't be surprised if people saw this and immediately went to buy the Royal Rumble, which is a month away still.
Yep.
Speaking of the Royal Rumble, I had it marked down here, but I forgot to mention. Bartlett, you said that McMahon, for the first time, busted out the no chance in hell.
Yeah.
I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, his entrance at the Royal Rumble will be the debut of his music. So,
nice.
Looking forward to that.
Very nice.
No chance.
That's what you got.
Won't be as good as the Barry White ripoff, but still good.
It'll be up there.
Yeah.
The Larry Eggshell, we can call it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's maintain that high and get through our next match. Jeff Jarrett with Deborah defeats Steve Blackman by pinfall in 2 minutes and 31 seconds in a guitar on a pole match.
Wonder if Vince Russo came up with this one.
I don't know who came up with this.
Whenever I saw that listed in my research, I was just flabbergasted. Who the fuck in 1998 wants anything on a pole?
Everybody.
Yeah.
You crazy?
Nobody does. This is so out of left field.
Especially between Jeff Jarrett and Steve Blackman. I mean,
right.
How do you make that any better? You put something on a pole.
So, of course, Deborah there, she had to tease the thirsty crowd with a possible strip down. For the record, I do not feel like I am owed full frontal at this point. Now, that's as opposed to how I was basically promised full frontal at the pay-per-view last night and they failed to deliver. Just one of many reasons that event had
I want
shit
my
the bed.
money back.
Yes.
You knew USA wasn't going to allow it, so.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We had no expectation of full frontal here. The action in this was fine, nothing really to scream about, so I'll just take this opportunity to say that if you're one of those assholes that takes a laser pointer to live events and shines it at people's faces, fuck you. fuck you. There was a lot of that tonight, and it pisses me off.
You're right up there
every
with
time
people
I
that
see
talk in the movie theater.
Oh,
Yeah,
now we're burying the Tacoma crowd. My goodness.
Well,
One person.
just that one asshole with the fucking laser pointer. Fuck that guy. Deborah, she kept popping out her tasty cakes as a distraction all over the place, at ringside, in the ring, everywhere. Jeff got the guitar. There were missed swings. The ref went down. Owen Hart ran in with a second guitar. I don't give a shit about it at all. Ryan, the rest of the match is whatever, but we are now officially at the point where I think we can safely say, and this is piggybacking off of Christy's comment there earlier, Deborah is basically nothing but a set of tits now. And
well, yeah.
she's no longer
Tasty
going to
cakes.
contribute in tasty cakes. Yes, that's much more classy. Thank you.
Because we haven't got the puppies yet.
Yeah.
She's not really going to contribute in many other ways, and I feel like that's
I thought she contributed enough.
She knows her
well,
role.
I mean, that's what I'm hinting at right there.
She's not trying to be something she's not, and I
Right,
appreciate
exactly.
Right.
Yes.
She knows why she's there and why the crowd is
that.
cheering.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Ryan, what did you think of the rest of this match?
Titties.
Yeah.
That was the only point of the match. We have Steve Blackman and Jeff Jarrett, just like Goldust and Owen, just two mid-carders in absolute story purgatory for quite some time now. And this is doing nothing to help that. Now all anyone cares about when really four of these people are in the ring is Deborah going to show up and take her shirt off.
Yep.
That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing this crowd cared about. Owen coming in and exploding the head on Blackman's head. Who gives a fuck? Nobody does. But hey, Deborah, her star is rising every week.
Yeah, this is not a Judy Bagwell on a forklift match, but you have to walk before you can run. So I'll take a guitar on a pole match for now as a gimmick. Jeff Jarrett, I don't know this for a fact, but I am 100% positive that he has in his contract that he will take 0 guitar shots. He has yet to take a guitar shot. He has given like 50 of them from what we've seen, but has taken 0. So there has to be something going on there.
That's fucking interesting, man.
This is a really good gimmick that they have going with Deborah's tasty cakes. I just wish that Michael Cole was not there calling it. I wish that JR was there. Yeah. And speaking of Michael Cole, I might start this thing of things I never want to hear Michael Cole say ever again. And during this match, it was, yeah, you go, girl. Oh, I don't ever want to hear him say that again. And earlier during the Mark Henry match, he said, go ahead, Mark. I don't ever want to hear that again either.
God, he's such a pencil
He was
neck geek.
Horrible tonight.
Fuck. Yeah. Let's get the hell away from that, too, because we went backstage. Briscoe and Patterson had found Tiger Ali Singh. Babu, apparently still in an Ecuadorian jail cell, but somebody had written the word bloodbath on Tiger's wall. And the suggestion from commentary there was that Tiger was scheduled to take on the Brood, I'm assuming Gangrel in singles action, and he was now going to try to refuse to do so, although none of that was clearly stated here at all. Then we went to Vince and Shane. Vince agreed to take on Mankind, but Vince was gonna do it his way. And backstage, we got a view of Vince starting to get undressed, and it's good that we now have a visual baseline on Vince's physique, because we know in the future he is going to get fucking jacked beyond where he is now. This is a good visual marker. Everybody note this. December 14th, 1998, Vince McMahon pre-gas.
What are you talking about? No steroids. Totally natural.
Yeah.
Well, they help accelerate healing. There's nothing wrong with them. It's a prescription drug.
Vince pulled out his tasty cakes tonight, too.
He did.
He started hanging out with the Shamrock a little too much.
Those pecs weren't as rock hard as they'll end up being, so. Back in the ring, Tiger Ali Singh had come out to the ring as though starting a match, but the lights went out and the Brood attacked him, taking Tiger up to the top of the ramp. The lights went fully out, and when they came back on, Tiger was laying in some kind of red liquid.
They called it blood.
What that is.
They called it blood this time for the first time.
I can't be 100% positive on that. We quickly got away from that, though, to a shot of Kane waiting, and then back again to EMTs working on Tiger to get him out of there. Apparently being coated in some kind of mysterious red liquid was quite the ordeal for Tiger, and he needed airlifted out. So, Ryan, a lot happened in a relatively short amount of time here. What'd you have on all this?
The main part of this was Tiger Ali Singh coming out to wrestle nobody, and the lights go out. We get the Brood's music with that dim red light, and for the first time, we get the bloodbath. So that's something. It's exciting to get the bloodbath finally. One thing that stuck out to me, though, because it being Tiger Ali Singh being covered in the blood, I couldn't help but think of Charlie Sheen and Tiger Blood. That was the only thing that kept on coming up in my mind. That goes back to the early 2000s as well.
Winning.
Yes. So yeah, who cares about Tiger, but we got the first bloodbath, so I'm a little excited about that.
Yeah, going back to Vince and Shane, Vince saying he's going to take on Mankind, but we all know that's a bait and switch now at this point. That's just not going to happen. And Tiger Ali Singh getting the bloodbath, I am disappointed to say that Michael Cole completely ruined this for me. He honestly makes me embarrassed to be a wrestling fan. He's so bad. This was his "that's gotta be Kane" moment when he was calling this. I couldn't get past it. I hated it so much with him trying to is that blood? Is that what is that? Is that blood?
That's gotta be blood.
It's gotta be blood. He's a big reason why the current product is below average too. He's still there. How the fuck is he still there? He's terrible.
I don't know. He was never good.
Yeah. Because he does everything Vince tells him to do with energy.
The clone, yeah.
Including calling stuff maneuvers.
Yeah. All right. So, little view of Kane that we got is going to take us into our next match. Kane versus Mankind ends in a no contest in 4 minutes and 30 seconds in a no-holds-barred match. We got a couple of really good hatchas out of this, and whenever they were in the ring, honestly, that's about it. I found Mankind and Kane to be a little boring, if I'm being honest. But Vince came out then wearing his sweatsuit, so Vince is maybe the new Mr. Sweatpants, I don't know. But Vince invited Mankind to join him in the parking lot for a street fight. And I had to assume that that's about where the no contest happened, because after Mankind left the ring area to follow Vince, we broke to a commercial for the Rock Bottom Encore and came back to the White Coats, having already subdued Kane, and they were in the middle of loading Kane into the back of an ambulance. Apparently during the break, the Bossman, Shamrock, and all of those orderlies appeared to take Kane down. We did end up getting a view of that, and just that view of the White Coats was more entertaining than the match was, I thought. But we then cut to a view of Mankind beating the living shit out of Vince McMahon out in the parking lot. It was great. Patterson and Briscoe tried to run in for the save, but they also got their asses beat. Finally, Mankind used Socko to get Vince almost into the trunk of a car, but The Rock showed up in time to not only save Vince, but then give Mankind the rock bottom onto the hood of a Lincoln Continental. By God, that had to have hurt. And that's where this finally ended, which is wild to me because we started this segment out as a no-holds-barred match that was frankly lame, but then started progressing up to the point of a Mankind-sized dent in the hood of a freaking car. I know I liked this. I really liked this. But Joe, I felt like this would have been like right up your alley.
Oh, definitely. 100%. Especially when, as soon as Mankind went to the back to go after Vince, that's when things really just got great. He fell for the trap because his brains are scrambled, obviously. And unfortunately, JR is not here to tell us that.
Well done.
Yeah. And Kane being taken away to the loony bin is hilarious. And Vince really taking a nice beating. He's taken some pretty good bumps here from Mankind. So that was interesting to see. And obviously the rock bottom on the car hood was that's going to be a slam of the week next week, right? It has to be. The Glover
couldn't see
slam of the week or whatever.
Bartlett, I'm not exactly on your side on the Mankind versus Kane. They didn't have enough time to really do much at all, but I thought they did a well enough job. It was still heads and shoulders above a Kane versus Undertaker match, which is just slow and cumbersome. Kane was able to use his 300-pound, 7-foot frame to throw the crash test dummy Mick Foley around for a little bit, which I thought was pretty entertaining. It was what you said, 4 minutes before they called the no DQ or the no contest. So they didn't have enough time to really get too much going, but I thought it started fine enough. But the highlight is definitely once Mankind abandons this match and goes out of the arena to beat the shit out of McMahon. I gotta give Vince credit here, because some of the shit that Mankind was doing to him here, even in the wrestling world, had to hurt. Mankind was laying into him, throwing him in the shit. It was good to see Patterson and Briscoe get their share as well. And then the predictable but still fantastic save from The Rock, and that rock bottom onto the, of course, Lincoln Continental. What else fucking would it be? Great finish to this segment, and it makes me want to see another Mankind Rock match. I know, Bartlett, you weren't all that up on the one from last night, but I was. I thought it was a pretty good match, and I think their story is pretty riveting. I like the Mankind Rock feud. I'm liking it.
Yeah, and to be clear, I mean, I don't dislike the combo of Rock and Mankind. I just really felt that match last night was handicapped in a lot of different ways, mostly by
I think
booking.
It was mostly handicapped by the pay-per-view itself.
Yeah. Well, that, and they tried to force that whole contract thing in, and it really stopped making sense. It was the booking that fucked it.
But the match, exactly, it was the booking. But I thought the match was pretty good.
Yeah. We went really quickly out of that last match and into our final match of the night. The Rock, with Shawn Michaels, defeats Triple H with Chyna by pinfall in 10 minutes and 52 seconds to retain the WWF Championship. I still just cannot get over how good Chyna was looking here, and as I was ogling her, Try did his "Are you ready?" bullshit. But I was genuinely looking forward to this, and I've mentioned it here before in a slightly different context, but one of my favorite things about Triple H is how strong of a support person he is. For a while there, I went on record as saying I felt like he was carrying the whole mid-card, because he was at that point. But in a match like this, he has the potential to really work for and put over The Rock. I again like The Rock taking Michael Cole's headset to give commentary on his own moves, but I also feel like now he should give that a rest for a while and not wear it out. The Rock got Triple H in a headlock, so we got a close-up of them talking to each other. Triple H was calling how he was going to rally out. I liked The Rock's fast DDT. That was some pretty smooth work. We got another rest hold after that, and 2 rest holds. That's one too many for me, pal. But the crowd was on their feet up to the point of the people's elbow, and it was great to see that investment from them, almost as good as it was to get those frequent close-ups of Chyna throughout this. And I thought the long stretch of The Rock wandering around in and out of the ring started to kill the crowd a little bit. Then Chyna snuck up into the ring to deliver the low blow, and the crowd erupted for that. There was another false finish with Shawn Michaels hitting Triple H with the belt. But then, just as Chyna and Shawn were going to potentially get into it, a big blonde guy wearing sunglasses showed up to hit a move on Triple H, getting the pin and the win for The Rock. Commentary only named the guy as Motley Crue's bodyguard. Yeah. Those of us who are in the know, we know him as Test.
Sick of getting screwed.
We faded to black. So I thought this was a pretty good match, 10 times better than anything we got at the pay-per-view last night. And once again, a way for The Rock to stand out and really build his presence. And I thought Triple H did a great job of supporting that. I love Chyna's look, and I am ambivalent at this point about the arrival of Test. But one last thing, just real quick, I wanted to make you guys aware of. So in my research, it listed a dark match happening after this one. Would you like to hear what it was?
Absolutely.
Sure.
The Rock defeated Ken Shamrock, Mankind, and the Big Bossman in a fatal 4-way to retain the WWF Championship.
Jeez.
Uh-huh.
Which I thought was extremely strange.
Yeah.
2 of the people are in his faction.
Yeah. Those dark matches sometimes just fucking around for the live crowd.
Yeah.
We've seen the extra attitude shit that happens. It's just playing around.
And I wonder, was it just The Rock, Shamrock, and the Big Bossman beating the shit out of Mankind?
Yeah.
Which, if that was it, then okay, it makes a little more sense.
Yeah, there's probably some kind of shenanigans there.
Yeah. And to be fair, I do rely on a fan-edited wiki version of wrestling history to do my research on these matches and times and finishes and everything, so that could totally be full of shit. We did not get the extra attitude here to show us this match, and it's funny that normally we get like extra attitude, another 10 minutes of Austin just slamming beers and getting Earl Hebner drunk in the ring, but here, where we could have really used that extra attitude, we got nothing. So,
well, Austin wasn't there to drink beer, so.
Yeah. 0 presence in tonight's episode, which was also just something to note. But with all of that said, Ryan, what did you think of our final match and the way that Raw ended tonight?
I thought for the most part, the main event delivered. It wasn't the most riveting match. It was only 10 minutes long. We did get some rest holds, but the crowd was really involved in the near falls in this match, which there were a few. Towards the end of it, we did start to get some big spots and big maneuvers out of the two. So I thought that it delivered for what you would expect out of a Monday Night Raw title match. The ending, so you gave the crowd a little, what you promised, this title match, but then we end it with this mysterious new guy. Now, we know, because we have hindsight, that Test isn't really going to pan out to be anything all that great, but if you're just watching this back in 98 new, it's a pretty riveting ending. We have this new huge guy who comes in, and it makes you want to come back next week just to see what this is all about. So I think it's pretty good booking. It's just we know that Test is Test, and he's not going to end up really being anything all that special. Outside of that, I thought this was a really good final segment to send people home with. I couldn't really hate any of it. The one thing that did stick out to me, though, well, you just mentioned no Stone Cold. He was mentioned a few times, though, but no Undertaker, and really no mention of The Undertaker. So it does seem like after he got buried alive, maybe he's going to go away for a little bit, let that broken ankle heal up, and then when he comes back, we're going to dive right into the Ministry shit, which I'm happy about. We need to move him away from the Austin feud and just get him into the Ministry stable. So all in all, though, yeah, good way to end Raw, I thought.
Yeah, a couple big things here I want to touch on, and you guys talked about a couple of them, but Triple H, I am not shitting on Triple H, but I am pointing out that I'm not a fan of Triple H. I never really understood why or how he got over as much as he did, especially at this time. I get it when it's a few years from now when he tears his quad and he comes back and he's all juiced up and he becomes the Game. I get it then. But right now, this crowd is behind him 100%. He's over. And I'm just not sure how or why. Maybe it's because he had Shawn Michaels taking him under his wing and they did the whole DX thing and now he's right place at the right time now that Shawn is out with an injury. So that's probably playing a big part. But I'm not a fan of Triple H, but he really stepped up here. And you guys mentioned Austin being out. Well, Austin might be injured, like I reported from Meltzer's.
Oh, yeah, the loose dirt.
So to me, this almost looks like the backup quarterback. Hey, kid, you're going in. And Triple H is kind of the guy that's like, hey, you're going to have to go up against The Rock on Raw and try to get this shit over. And he did. I thought he did a great job with this. And obviously the crowd was behind it. China came in with that low blow and they, like you said, they erupted. Really good near falls that had the crowd really hyped up. And then Test. I remember Test being the drizzling shits.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I'm going to go into this fresh and relive Test and what he has to offer. He clearly has the look. We all know that.
Yeah.
And Test is indirectly going to play a huge part in the future of wrestling, the future of WWF in particular.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be the middleman between Triple H and Stephanie later next year. So he's going to play a huge part in the future of wrestling, but he's just not a good personality, and he's going to be easy to shit on, but I'm going to go into it with fresh eyes. And
the first time we hear him on the mic, everyone will go,
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. But I also want to point out again, Michael Cole ruined this for me. Again, like, this is a guy that's coming in, okay, all you have to do is look at this guy. And we know he's part of the corporation. The corporation brought him in. So the corporation is growing by one, and it's this huge, good-looking guy. And Michael Cole is just like, that's Motley Crue's bodyguard. Like, why? Why do you have to say that? Just go off the air.
Someone should have fucking tabletoped him right there.
Yes, I agree. So yeah, just a couple of things there that I think are really going to shape the future of the WWF going into the next year.
I'm looking forward to seeing the segment where Test says sick of getting screwed, because that's been
absolutely
that's been a running joke with us since it happened.
Yeah, decades.
Yeah.
Though I think we have a bit to wait before we get to the sick of getting screwed, unfortunately.
Yeah. But all right. So, as I said, we faded to black. So, let's take it on over to highlights, lowlights, and our favorite signs. Joe, why don't you take that first?
My highlight is going to be Triple H. I think Triple H stepped up as the backup quarterback tonight. And with no Steve Austin, I feel like he stepped up. He opened up the show and he closed the show. And I believe this was his first shot at the world title. Most likely it was.
Yeah.
So
I think that's right.
I think he stepped up and did a pretty good job tonight. Low light is clearly going to be Michael Cole. His commentary was terrible. And my favorite sign, there was a few. This was a really good crowd. I went with the sign that said Goldberg, 2 moves.
My highlight is going to be Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon with the bingo roller, mainly the bingo roller. That's going to be a highlight for me. That whole segment was golden. And my low light, Joe, is 100% with you. Michael fucking Cole. Just a damn shame. We know this is just a victim of circumstances. Good old JR has Bell palsy, so there's nothing we could do. But unfortunately, we have to bear Michael Cole through all of this, and it is a definite low light. And my favorite sign of the night, it's not entirely original. It's something that has been said over and over again, but everything that happened tonight really highlights it. It was the best damn soap opera on TV. Because it sure is.
Had that right front and center for the hard camera, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, so I am going to differ with you guys on my lowlights. Michael Cole honestly didn't bother me all that much here. I think I'm becoming like tone deaf to him now.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
He doesn't stick out as bad. He's taken the volume level down a little bit, which is everything that I needed. So,
but just
I'm not saying
the shit that he says.
He's very forgettable. He's kind of like the oddities in that respect. He's not exactly nothing to me, but he's very forgettable to me. So like his shittiness doesn't really stick in my head.
I'm giving Michael Cole the low light here, but moving forward, I'm probably not going to give it to him, even though he'll deserve it many more times over the next few months.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the oddities. This is his one-time low light for me, and then I'm going to forget about him.
Okay. Everything Blue Blazer was my low light. I'm so tired of it. And we got multiple segments with it here. Just over it, completely over it. My highlight, though, was The Rock and everything that The Rock did tonight. He had that great promo jousting with Triple H in the beginning. He did the rock bottom on the Lincoln Continental with Mankind, and he had this great match at the end of the show. So The Rock was definitely my highlight. And for my favorite sign, it was a DX Suck It sign, but it had a long brown wig stapled to it, and it inferred that you were supposed to suck Cousin It from the Addams Family.
Wow.
Jeez.
So suck
Wow.
it. It's
That's
being
beautiful.
cousin.
Right. The big.
I was
ball
really
of
impressed
hair.
with that. Yeah.
Very nice.
I had a couple picked out. Pimpa Shango was one, and just as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's the height. That's the peak of creativity in Tacoma, Washington, and I'm here for it.
This crowd certainly was better for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. All right. So Joseph, I don't suppose you have any contemporary wrestling news from on and around December 14th, 1998 for us.
I sure do. Direct from the Wrestling Observer, Dave Meltzer is reporting that in just over 1 year after the 1997 Montreal Screwjob Survivor Series took place, the Hitman Hart Wrestling with Shadows documentary will air in the U.S. for the first time on the A&E network on December 20th, 1998.
Wow. A&E's been showing wrestling shit for years now then.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were the people that debuted that. Wow.
Yeah,
Starts
so
entertainment, pal.
Yeah.
So that documentary is getting a lot of buzz around the wrestling world, especially in the dirt sheets. Little bit of another little piece here from Dave Meltzer offering his thoughts on the recent crucifixion angle that the WWF did. He said the current direction of the WWF with the recent crucifixion angle has again raised the question of how far is too far when it comes to pro wrestling angles. Dave says too far is when it negatively affects business. Too far is when more people are turned off than turned on by the angles, and that shows when the ratings begin to drop. Clearly that has not happened yet, and the WWF is still on the ascension, both in ratings and attendance. Too far is when the TV stations get so much heat they threaten to drop the product unless things cool down. Clearly that has not happened either, at least as it pertains to the USA Network, as Canada's TSN did edit the entire angle off of its version of Raw.
Whoa.
So it's a little too hot for Canada TV.
Yeah, back then Canada was more uptight and conservative than America. That's shocking.
Yep. So I thought that was interesting that Canada edited that entire angle out of their version of Monday Night Raw. Update on the ratings war is that there isn't much of a war, as Raw has won 7 weeks in a row now. So WCW is being flushed down the shitter. Dave's reporting there's really no conclusive word on the condition of Steve Austin. He had a gastrointestinal attack while on the flight to England and was so sick he had to cancel all of his promotional appearances and could not eat for 4 days.
Jeez.
The injuries then suffered in the pay-per-view match was to be examined on December 15th, and there wasn't even any speculation as to whether he could make or wrestle on the upcoming Chicago and Madison Square Garden shows. So not sure when he's coming back. But People magazine is going to feature Steve Austin. That photo spread is going to come out next week. There is also no timetable for the return of Jim Ross, unfortunately. Speaking of another person who's been out for a while, Sable. Sable is training for her Playboy photo shoot, which is going to occur in a few weeks.
What type of training do you need to get naked for photos?
Got to get lean and fit, pal.
She was already there, though.
Yeah, there's not much else you can really lose off of her.
As much as I shit talk her, she's always been fit. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's a historic moment. She will be doing her photo shoot for Playboy in a few weeks. The issue will be out in April. As of right now, it's not guaranteed that she's going to be on the cover, but if they know what's good for them as far as selling magazines, it will be.
Yeah.
She has been given creative control of what shots can or cannot go in the magazine.
That's for the good, I think.
Another big moment that we are waiting on here, Bart Gunn. He is apparently training with the idea of possibly trying pro boxing. The rumors about a Bart Gunn versus Tank Abbott Brawl for All match are not at all out of the realm of possibility. So they are still in the works on ruining Bart Gunn's career.
I feel like he maybe would have had a better shot against Tank Abbott than Butterbean.
Maybe.
I don't know. Tank Abbott was a beast back then.
I mean, he was, but Butterbean, like, you're really getting, in a boxing match, you're really just going right into what Butterbean is good at, which is hit you once with a punch that will fucking put you in the next week. Where Tank Abbott in a straight up boxing match, I don't know how good he would be.
I think Bart Gunn will be fine against Butterbean. Don't count him out. M&M Mars has signed a multi-year sponsorship deal with WWF valued at more than $10 million. Wow. Coca-Cola is said to be considering a major WWF marketing program next year as well. So big sponsorships coming in, even with that crucifixion angle.
Yeah.
Nothing matters if there's audience and money.
Yeah. Ryan, you mentioned that Mick Foley was number 2 on the Time Magazine Internet voting for Man of the Year. And it was also noted that Linda Tripp was voted as number 7 in the Man of the Year voting.
Oh, man.
I haven't heard that name in
Brutal.
a very long time.
Brutal.
Well,
Man of the Year.
That's where we will end the news then.
Jeez. All right. Wow. I don't know where to go.
I can't stop
from here.
laughing about that.
Mick Foley is in great company with that voting.
Yes.
Good Lord. For our listeners that may or may not know, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but Linda Tripp is who essentially blew the lid off of the Monica Lewinsky scandal with President Bill Clinton at the time.
Yeah.
The thing that I remember is Saturday Night Live, John Goodman playing Linda Tripp.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you, Joseph. Illuminating as always. And that is it, folks. We are done with this one. I want to thank you again for joining us. If you like what we're doing here and want to connect with us, you can email us at WRASSLINRAW. Just add at gmail.com to the end of that to submit questions or comments. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and on every podcast subscription platform. While you're there, don't forget to follow and subscribe to get every episode of Wrasslin Raw coming to you with every release. Give us a 5-star review and tell all of your friends to tune in to the most incessant Monday Night Raw review podcast on the airwaves. Next time on Wrasslin Raw, we're going to take a look at the Raw that aired on December 21st, 1998, with matches featuring Shane McMahon, Test, and many more. So, for Joe and Ryan, I'm Jason, and this has been Wrasslin Raw.